For centuries, Arabs have considered learning to read and write a very important part of their lives. This was partly due to their daily rituals of prayer and Quranic recitation. All social life was based on the principles of religion and tribal system. However, in that time, education was not official. The Mutawa established the Katatib method of teaching. Very rarely pupil would have gone a stage further than learning the Holy Quran by memory, together with some basic knowledge of writing and understanding of some arithmetic and theology. The pearl merchants of the Gulf, with their widespread trading activities, were becoming increasingly interested in education for their sons in the early part of the century. Many sent their boys to India to study, but gradually more and more schools were opened in the Gulf. One of those wealthy pearl merchants, Sheikh Ahmed bin Dalmouk, established Al-Ahmadiya School in 1912. Completed by his son Mohammed, Al-Ahmadiya School was the first regular school in the Emirate of Dubai. The school is located in the center of the residential Al-Ras area of Dira, which was a convenient location for the children of the elite and traders who resided there. The school had been constructed in 3 phases. In the first phase, the school was built on the ground floor level with 8 classrooms, a kitchen, and a washroom around a central open courtyard with verandas. This was followed in 1920, with a large room built along one side on the first floor and a staircase. A wind tower was built to provide comfort to this room. 2 years later, the remaining area on the first floor was built over to accommodate the growing number of students. Al-Ahmadiya School was the first regular school in the Emirate of Dubai, where instruction was imparted by some of the leading teachers of the day. Many distinguished scholars and dignitaries received their education in Al-Ahmadiya. Among them comes the late Sheikh Rashid bin Said Al Maktoum. At first, some 300 boys sat on the floor, like in traditional Quran schools. Later on, the pupils were sitting on benches with wooden desks. The education primarily concentrated on religion, Islamic history, and arithmetic. Discipline was strict, and the boys were expected to work hard. Attending Al-Ahmadiyya classes used to be free of charge. However, those who had good means were charged 3 to 5 rupees a month. Some children were accepted, even though they were under age of schooling, but only as listeners, until they were old enough. Special attention was paid to the morning assembly, where students used to queue up in neat rows in order to recite poetry. A number of other schools opened in the 1920s, but closed in the 30s with the Depression and pearling.
تتمثل المواد التي تدرس.
The subjects that were taught at that time in Al-Ahmadiyya School were first of all the Holy Quran, the Islamic rules, and mathematics. There was an instruction book that doesn't exist anymore, called the Morals Book. This book was used to teach young children to respect parents, family, neighbours, as well as having good manners in society. These were the main subjects taught at Al-Ahmadiyya School. Underwater diving and pearl business was also learned in the school. Pupils were studying in the morning and in the evening. They used to go to school in the mornings and come back after the afternoon prayer. In the evening, they used to go to the mosque, where teachers were also giving lessons. Back at home, the students continued to study in order to increase their knowledge. The subjects studied were religion, Quran, the Prophet's life, the Islamic rules and Arabic grammar. This was the program of the school. The students were sitting on benches on which 3 students could sit. They used ink to write. Each student had his own ink pot. There were no pens. Students had paper, writing slates, pencils, quills, and pen holders. We were writing with quills, and the ink pots were kept in a hole in their desks. This is how we were studying every day.
Primarily backed up by neighboring and friendly Arab nations with educational delegates from Kuwait, Qatar, and Egypt who flocked to the region, formal education started at Al-Ahmadiya School in 1956, and new disciplines such as geography, science, and English were introduced. The educational system follows the one of Kuwait, with 3 phases of teaching, divided in 4 years for the primary level, 4 years for the middle level, and 4 years for the secondary level. Students sat for special exams and, according to the results, joined different classes in the school. Al-Ahmadiya School had 21 classes, and because of its increasing number of students, reaching 800 at one time, the school could not cope physically with the locals' increasing demand for registration. The school was rehoused in 1963 in a large modern-style building at the entrance of Dubai Creek, whereas its old building was used for a while as a religious institution, then abandoned. Al-Ahmadiya School has highly contributed to the social and educational development of the area. High priority has been given ever since throughout the UAE to the task of providing schools and establishing a modern, unified educational system. It expressed the conviction that there was no awakening without knowledge, and that there was no civilization without culture, and moreover, that there cannot be any progress without education.